move into the most anticipated section for today's program, our leadership panel discussion. So the theme for today's discussion is the GCC AI Mandate 2027, Architecting the Nexus of Talent, Technology and Transformation. The section brings together accomplished leaders from global capability centers and leading organizations who are driving AI innovation, engineering excellence, and digital transformation across industries. So I now have the privilege of inviting our distinguished panelists to the stage. So to moderate this panel discussion, we have with us Dr. Giridharan C., Managing Director of CareerTiQ, a passionate educator of industry leader. Dr. Giridharan has been instrumental of building strong academia-industry collaborations and creating initiatives that prepare future-ready talent. Dr. Rajan Gupta, Director Data Science and AML, Deutsche Telekom, with a deep expertise in artificial intelligence and machine learning and research-driven innovation. He has been enabling organizations to build intelligent, future-ready technology solutions. Over to next panelist, Mr. Neeraj Gehani, Global Product Director, AML Product, dunnhumby. He leads AI-powered product and platform development, helping organizations translate artificial intelligence into impactful business solutions.
So the next panelist is Mr. Divakar Vijayan, Executive Director, Analytics and AI at Wells Fargo. He has an extensive experience in enterprise analytics and AI, driving data-led innovation and digital transformation across global business functions. Our next panelist is Ms. Usha Sitharaman, Vice President, Engineering and Data Science at Walmart. She leads large-scale engineering and data science initiatives, driving innovation through AI and advanced technology solutions. Ms. Koelia Ghosh Roy, Director, GenAI and Agentic AI Delivery Leader at Capgemini. She leads enterprise and generative AI and Agentic AI initiatives, enabling organizations to adapt next-generation AI technologies at scale. Thank you to all our distinguished panelists for joining us. With such accomplished panel of leaders, we look forward to an engaging discussion on the GCC AI Mandate 2027, Architecting the Nexus of Talent, Technology and Transformation. I now invite Dr. Giridharan C. to lead the discussion. Dr. Giridharan, the stage is yours.
First of all, thanks for joining the panel. Right, I think a lot of insights are going to come out of this discussion, which will be very useful for all of us, right? Thanks for accepting our invite to be the leader. So before we start, right, I just want to get a quick, heads up from you about whatever we discussed. There are a lot of problem statements, we discussed about the GCCs are facing today, all right, especially from the talent angle, right? So what's your thought quickly, all of you in as a you can start from Koelia, please.
Hi everybody, very good morning to everyone, and it's great to be here and I wish you all the very best. It's a great initiative and I think the students will really benefit from it. And today's talent market, firstly I would say our Indian students are very smart, very bright. They need a bed where we can nurture their innovative mindset and make them creative and not lease them. The education system currently a bit leaves them with their thoughts. I think that's what the GenAI Nexus Fellowship is trying to do, break that and give them the opportunity to do great things. So our Indian students, our young generation, they just need that light, the path. And I think everything they have in them. So I think we are in good hands.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So from a talent perspective, I think what we are seeing in the market is there's a lot of demand-supply gap right now, which we are trying to address. And I think we are investing a lot of resources in academic institutions in terms of training people. But I don't think the output is matching the quality which the industry is looking for. So this is a great initiative in terms of bringing all the parties together in terms of making that happen, and really excited about this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. First of all, thank you very much again for the invitation, and it's really honor to be a part of this cohort as mentor and be a part of the transformational journey for solving one of the challenges that we face on day-to-day basis: talent shortage. AI has always been the culprit to say that it will make jobs disappear. But in reality, we are still looking for talented individuals who can really help in our transformational journey. And that's where we are putting a lot of efforts and a lot of focus. So this program, which comes in handy for all of us as GCC leaders, will really solve that problem, which gives us an insight of how these talents are nurtured from day one, and gives us that insight on the capabilities and the competencies that they bring to us. Gone are the days when we were spending a lot of time on, talent onboarding and, the journey of them getting ready for any contributions. Now in this age, we expect from day one, everybody is contributing meaningfully, no matter what background you're coming from, no matter what skill sets you're coming from. You should be an individual contributor from day one. And from that perspective, this readiness platform, which helps students to become job ready from day one, would be really tremendous contribution. And I wish all the best and looking forward to, contributing here.
Thank you, Rajan.
Thank you all for having me in this august company. I have a slightly different view on the talent piece. As AI and the ecosystem evolves, I feel definitely there are a lot of changes that are coming where students themselves have to be equipped with knowledge, tools, and attitude. But similarly, the companies are also evolving. So it is in a state of flux currently is what I see, and we have not reached a steady state. This will be a space, maybe a year or two, where everybody will try and find equilibrium. And we'll all have to sail this together. And there are foundational aspects which majorly don't change over time, and there are fleeting aspects which have to be aligned by time. So that is something that we'll have to seek and match for both the supply and the demand side changes.
Well,
thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello everyone, thanks Dr. Giri for inviting me here. One of the things that I'm seeing is internships specifically for students and with industry is not new. It has been there for multiple decades now. What is changing is the way the industry is evolving, the technology is evolving. I think companies are also evolving. The companies are transforming at a much, much faster pace. I think somebody was telling before, every quarter we are seeing something changing. So the academia has to move at that fast pace. Usually academia doesn't move at that fast pace as the industry. It is our responsibility together as industry and academia to navigate the students, because I've met a lot of students during offsites, interns. We meet every year whenever they come to the company, and the first question that they ask is, well, what I'm doing right now, will it remain like after 6 months? Will I have a job after a year? And these are real concerns. So it becomes our moral responsibility in some way to navigate this new talent in a right way so that we are able to provide them the right support. So this definitely is a wonderful program to create this immersive experience. I love that 80-80-80 kind of a split, so which is more like an experiential learning of sorts.
Absolutely. Thank you, Usha. I think you touched. In fact, the first question I was about to ask you is that only you answered well in advance, because the universities are putting a lot of efforts, to match the speed of the industry. Having a lot of partners across India. I visited, I met students, more than 1 million. Everybody is striving hard to match the expectations of the organizations. But there are very fast dynamic developments are coming in the industry. They are not able to match it. So one point you touched is a wonderful point, that is internships, right? So today I could see a lot of global hackathons, challenges, everything. Even Walmart has got Sparkathon kind of a thing, which gives a platform to all the students. It's a level playing field. Whether you're from IIT or a Tier 4 engineering college, it doesn't matter. If you are a good talent, you please come and participate. I think this program will definitely address that particular, preparing students for that. Great. So now the question goes like this. Probably I will start with Rajan. Okay. since a lot of things are going on, technically, what are the things which the students have to learn, right? What specific technological subdomains within generative AI are driving premium hiring inside GCCs? And how does sustained mentorship from GCC leaders build this level of deep tech capability? Predominantly the subdomains, which is driving business today in GenAI.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid question. And to your point on hackathon, just want to remind that Deutsche Telekom Digital Labs is also organizing a hackathon for hiring.
Oh,
and that's there next weekend, 24th and 25th July. So in
Excellent.
case you want your students to participate, we would be willing to
Please share the
hire
details,
them.
we'll share
So
the
it does not matter what background you're coming
That's right.
from, does not matter what
Exactly.
subjects you have studied. If you can demonstrate hands-on learning, that's good enough to be a part of any of the GCC setup. And that's what the level playing field we are talking about today.
Exactly.
We do not want to tie back to the premium tags of a student coming from a premium background. No, that's not required today. We have seen that all the resumes are AI generated now.
Correct.
And hence you cannot really filter them out.
Yeah.
Everybody is a superb AI engineer and a superb AI developer. So it's really hard to tell them, and that's where hands-on learning capabilities comes into picture. And there are ways to demonstrate those hands-on learning capability comes from these kind of hackathons and any kind of profiles that they build on, open source kind of contributions. Now, from that perspective, the skill sets that you're talking about is the fundamental to any of the GCC setups today, because we are not talking about few hundreds of rows. We are talking about millions and billions of transactions that we handle every day. From that perspective, I'm sure whether it's retail, whether it's healthcare, whether it's telecom, for example, we operate in Germany and rest of the Europe and US. So there are multiple domains that or multiple geographies that we are touching upon. From that perspective, data becomes really key to us. And to mine that data, we have to first understand from the subdomain point of view what that data is all about. So just to understand and fix the data storage with us requires you a lot of skill set. So from that perspective, one of the subdomains within AI field is around data engineering. So the source and the destination parts, your pipelines are good enough. They are having that freshness and recencies being maintained. And you are able to have a good quality data layer being available to you as a foundational element becomes a very critical skill. Now, from that perspective, if you are able to demonstrate that, yes, you can handle streaming data, batches data, picking it up from the right source to the right destinations, work with legacy systems, integrations with those legacy systems, because you have to pull in data from all layers, that becomes really challenging. And for GCCs, which are operating from India, and any new GCCs that are coming up, comes with a lot of legacy baggage from the headquarters. Now, they're operating in various channels, they're operating in various geographies, and their legacy systems have to be upgraded to support the newer ages, because we are talking about agents, and agents need to coordinate with those legacy systems, which is a broken window for us. So from that perspective, second area becomes that from the legacy transformation point of view, the skill set to transform your softwares, the legacy systems, into new age softwares. From that perspective, they are now given two capabilities. One is the software design and one is the intelligence design. We always were trained as Indian students from the software design perspective. We were very good with SDLCs and all. But now we are also need to have those kind of skill sets where AI DLC comes into consideration. So that becomes the second key requirement, that you know the AI architectures, you understand the deep learning and the RAGs and the fine-tuning part. You are able to orchestrate between different agents and different memory databases and vector databases. So that becomes a complete solution in itself. So call it AI architecture, come AI solution that you are building up through the various AI DLC ways by using the relevant tools and technology software. So that becomes the second skill set. And the third skill set from the subdomain point of view is around the deployments. So we are not just talking about local systems that are being developed on my machine, which most of the students are used to, that they develop something that stays in their local systems. People who are able to migrate it to a workable solution, workable space are the ones who are winning this race. So we look at people who can actually deploy the solution onto servers, onto clouds, even on-premise. So wherever they feel comfortable, whatever accesses they have to the resources, deployments become the third key part, which is where you have to deal with a lot of LLM ops, you have to deal with a lot of data ops, you have to deal with a lot of DevOps kind of stuff. So operationalizing your code and shipment of your code becomes the key skill or key domain that's there. So I think these are the three subdomains that we are critically looking. The fourth one, which is emerging or as part of this status, is the responsible AI part, which is where you consider the safety and the security of your code. There are no data leakages. There are no unnecessary utilization of CPUs and the compute. So you have an optimization in place. And in the break, I was talking to somebody, and to him I said that gone are those days when you were spending time on the code logics. Now code logics can be done very well by the AI tools. What you spend time on today's context is on optimizing your code. Because as a student, as a contributor, if you cannot save me the money that I spend on GPUs, CPUs, and the cloud, I'll be gone. My budget is limited, and I cannot have you the luxury of putting any code on the infrastructure which consumes a large amount from that. So from the financial perspectives, as a GCC leader, we are looking for talent who can give us an optimization problem being solved from the day one, because code writing is no more a skill that we require. So from that perspective, again, an optimization theory, if you can combine with all three areas, would be really good to have.
Perfect. I think very insightful query here. The 2027 mandate focuses heavily on Agentic AI, right? So what separates engineers who can build autonomous agentic systems from those who build simple chat tools? What is that big difference you are looking for, right?
Yeah, this is a very, 2D date question. I mean, this is the present problem that we have to face.
Yeah.
Most of the, new entries that are coming in, we have built chatbots. What new entries? I mean, even experiences. We have built chatbots. Either it is in UAT or it is in, a hackathon base. But what they miss is the end-to-end connection, which means that it doesn't just work. It also scales. It can also manage load, and it is also secured. And it is not easy to achieve that. So it is no longer that I know GenAI and I know how to prompt. Because in 2027, in one of the very big companies like Anthropic has mentioned, no longer there will be prompt engineering. Now we have to build systems that prompt itself. And it is not the visionary statement. This is actually the reality, where all autonomous systems are actually prompting themselves. They are deciding which tool to call. They are deciding how to control. So, going forward, the thought is not that I know which LLM will work well. No, that's not the point, because gateways will help you choose which LLMs to work. But how do I manage the entire flow of the data? How do I control it? How do I govern it? How do I nurture it? How do I make it scalable? And finally, how do I make it secured and responsible? So I agree with Rajan completely. Token optimization is a topic in itself, actually. Token management, perhaps people will even take loans around it. So that's a taken, so that will be there. But what are not being looked into right now, but we need to focus on is harnessing. Creating the harness around the agent, be that the tool utilization, be that the number of calls we are making, be that the rate limits that it has for each LLM, and be that simple pipeline management. A very simple thing, even simple LLM ops pipelines breaks because it was not thought through enough. Or your UAT, you went very well because you did really plan it, that your flow is working, but you did not think about the load at all. And when you go into prod, that's where the throttling happens. You lose the control. Your agents, you know exactly what you have built, but you don't know how to control them. And if you don't know how to control them, then production will fail. And you will only get to know when customers raise the complaint that it's not working. So I think the harness engineering is picking up, and we definitely need to know not just build, but how to control those agents.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Kailya. Yeah. My next question to Usha. India is becoming a hub for data centers, right? A lot of global organizations are starting data centers, not only in major cities, even if you take places like Visakhapatnam or Coimbatore, kind of cities are coming up. So as a leader, how do you see this transformation? India is looked at a major hub for data centers.
I think it's a positive transformation for sure. I think it has been for a while. I think in the APAC region, if you look at it, we did not have major data centers. Mumbai had for some time, Singapore had some time. So I think it's time that we have a powerful base in terms of data centers. What it will end up doing is at least we have regions which were in EMEA region and North American region where a lot of deployments used to happen. And maybe it's a disadvantage by design if you don't have this in terms of latency, in terms of cost, in terms of just the calls which goes back and forth. So just having that hub, it gives a level playing field. I think that's what I think it does. It is not like before the data centers, things were not working. We can still make the calls. It will go all around the world and kind of come back. Right. It just increases the cost. It just also shows that the talent-wise, right, people have a great opportunity if you have a local data center. Yeah. There will be more skills that will open up for core data center work, which I don't think which was happening in India. Yeah. Right? It was mostly application-based, was maybe prioritized for a very long time. Understood. So network-related, how to deploy data center is a very, very, very different skill. I don't even know if in colleges we have like a specific skill around this. So I remember when, I think in my previous companies, when site reliability engineering became like, you're right, started with Google, but it started with this reliability engineering as a discipline wasn't there, even in industries. They realized that in colleges, this is not there. Yeah. And there were very, very few colleges who started this course, at least on how to, you can deploy things, but how do you ensure that it runs once it is deployed scalably in a trustworthy way. So that is where I see that this billions of dollars which is being invested in data center creation, it is not just about creation, but it will at least open up a huge talent pool opportunity for the students.
Great. Thank you, Usha. I think that's a great thing. What you said is, of course, the curriculum is trying to catch up. We discussed many times. But the industry requires a role-based, right? As you mentioned, site reliability engineer, right? In which semester, which paper teaches that? That's your question, actually, right? So that we need to really answer through this kind of, discussions, master classes from the industry. And also the academic leaders are ready to, produce such kind of big talent. I think it's a very cohesive effort from all of us.
Just, I think, see, for your point about people opening data centers, if the students can actually go there and see how it works, right? When you do it just as a theoretical learning, I don't think people really understand. But that has been the biggest gap that I think all these courses or programs are trying to at least solve.
That's right. Yeah, Rajan.
I'll just add on to that. I think you talked about roles. If you can just divide the roles into 4 broad areas: data, intelligence, compute, and infra. You'll find all the roles fitting into these 4 broad domains. Brilliant. So if you can handle data, if you can handle intelligence, if you can handle infrastructure, and if you can handle compute, GPUs and CPUs. So all the NOC teams and SREs and SDs and AI engineers, full stack engineers, they all fall into these 4 buckets. And if you can just prepare students towards these roles across these 4 buckets, I think that will solve this.
Thank you so much. Right? When we talk about the data or the cloud or all these things, immediately security comes to my mind, right? With all these things, there's a question for so security and AI governance are primary blockages preventing enterprises from putting GenAI systems into production, right? There are a lot of discussions are going on still. So what must emerging engineers understand about real-world AI safety, guardrails, and compliance? That's very important today.
And that's a great question because what we are seeing on a day-to-day basis is irrespective of how fast engineers want to move, there are organizational friction points in terms of, going slow and making sure that you have thought through all these elements. So let's say a company is sitting on a lot of BI data, and that data, if it's leaked out, and the company is gone anyways, right? So irrespective of how fast you want to move, the academic system needs to start thinking about training people in terms of what are the risks, right? So data leakage and security is definitely one, but also think about from a compliance perspective. So we have friends from legal side here. And again, legal compliance is the biggest thing. So I end up spending a lot more time, less time with engineers and more with legal these days in terms of, I want to launch this. Can I go ahead and launch? And given we are talking about GCCs here, especially in Europe, GDPR and all these legislations are really, really heavy. So there are so many touch points in terms of making sure that people have thought through this. Now, what is happening is right now, students and even practitioners in the industry, they will take the data and they will start, working on cloud or all those other things. Yeah. But organizations are putting in guardrails that this data doesn't go out. But having that semblance of, this data is your proprietary moat and it cannot be leaked is really, really important. So, of course, training students on that is going to be very, very imperative.
Thank you. Yeah, I think the next question to Divakar. The learning velocity varies enormously across talent programs, right? Definitely. There are a lot of programs you might be running internally. You are also, taking programs outside. What makes a cohort genuinely accelerate? And how does cohort composition shape that outcome? Because we are asking you from the perspective, not only from GenAI Nexus Fellowship program perspective, where we are working with a lot of institutions, right? The starting point is the curriculum, the important ingredient, right? Then, capability building for faculty members, everybody like that. But according to you, how do you see this? What's your advice?
So, I may not have an advice, but maybe a perspective. Yeah. When we look at academia in general, I like to see a lot of give and take from 2-3 aspects. One is definitely the talent being ready, the curriculum being accommodating and supportive, having an ecosystem that makes it possible. So in the ecosystem space is when, as an industry, we can come in and move in. And similarly, we as from the industry can take advantage of the academic rigor and the research rigor going in there. Because in GCCs, even though we look at research, the quantum percentage is way different than what is available in the academia. Okay. And that is something that can be contributed into the industry. Okay. From a student perspective, I also look at building aspects beyond the technical piece. For example, we talked about learning velocity. Right? Yeah. I had one of my old bosses who said 90s it was about data, and the next phase is rate of change of data, which becomes information. Now we are at rate of change of information, which is learning. But once learning can become a commodity, it will only be rate of change of learning for which we don't even have a name. Right? We are looking at students or maybe even professionals like us who can manage that rate of change, one, which is moving, and bind it with foundational aspects, which can be as simple as problem solving, looking at problems from the scratch again, which we call first principles thinking. Yeah. This is a pretty amazing moment where students who start can look at the business problem and start building again, even though industry might have systems. Yeah. Similarly, industry practitioners would have cribbed a lot of time saying, this is an old legacy, this is something that we should change, we have this constraint. We have an opportunity now to make it happen. Yeah. And these kind of situations don't happen often in a generation, and this is a generational opportunity. Having a mindset to take this opportunity is something that has to be built in college. We can call it resilience, but then that is something that we'll have to look into our students. And this is maybe a little difficult to inculcate, and it's more easier done in practice. You have a lot of opportunity to do it. Simpler ways could be projects, but more difficult ways could be having interaction with the business, with the industry, talking about their business problem from the student's perspective.
Okay.
To challenge what were your constraints, what were your assumptions when you build the solution. Today, it may or may not be there.
Yeah.
How to take advantage of it. So maybe that is how I see the interaction benefiting both sides.
Perfect. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay, I think I have a single question to all of you, which comes to my mind suddenly, because we discussed about certain things during our coffee break with Usha also. When you are hiring fresh talent, right? What are the top 3 skills you look at them? See, technical skills are fine, absolutely. But what are the other skills you think a fresher must have to work with me in my team, right? What are the things? You can have your own. Use 3 top skills, right? Please, Usha, I can start.
I think one of the things which I think with foundations, strong foundations, we might be underestimating that, but the foundation still remains strong. They need a way to figure out whether the AI is doing the right thing or not, or whether it is hallucinating. So we need engineers who think about it. It's very easier for them to get diluted. Problem-solving skills, very strong problem-solving skills. The third one is AI augmentation. They don't have to be completely dependent, but the fact that they can actually ask questions on why they are doing certain things, why of the problem, very, very strongly. We were just discussing, we did at Walmart, we did a showcase of all the summer internship demos just yesterday. So it's very fresh in my mind. And we were really blown away with the confidence with which they were actually explaining the problem. And we felt that why didn't people actually think about this problem? They just come for 2 months and they were able to solve it. And the confidence with which they come up with options. And they also said where they have used judiciously LLMs, where they have not, because it's not cost effective. For a second year sophomore or a third year student to kind of think like that, that is the skill. And people were asking, how can we hire this students? That is what we are looking for.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much.
From my perspective, I think has a lot of overlap with what Usha said. Business problem solving, definitely one. And this does not need a lot of business information or industry information. It needs curious mind and a logical thinking aspect. So that definitely is something I look for. Technical, yes, like you said, that is foundational. We also look at the attitude a student brings while working in a group. This is something we focus on primarily because even though we'll have individual heroes emerging, but the work done which speaks actually is because of a group of people making it happen. And we look at how a team member can complement each other from that aspect. And foundational basics, we definitely look at statistical knowledge going towards generative AI. Reason being, we also look at candidates who can choose different tools for different problems with a given reason. Cost might be one. For prediction, it might be absolutely too heavy a vehicle to run on generative AI compared to a traditional successfully running models just on Arima, Arimax, right? So we look at those foundational basics too.
So you agree with Ashokan? What he said?
I do. I really liked when he shared his perspective today and also yesterday. And I was happy that few of my thoughts did align with him a lot. So
That's right. Great. Thank you so much. Yeah, please, Rajan.
Yeah, I think you aptly named this as talent, technology, and transformation discussion. And from that perspective, I think GCCs are going through, or at least from my perspective, GCCs are going through 3R phases: reskill, redesign, and re-embed. So from that perspective, I think skilling becomes important for us internally, externally, both, and we are expecting the same kind of behavior elsewhere. Redesigning the processes and the way talent becomes part of that redesigned process, and we are also letting them the opportunity to be a part of that thinking of or contributing to that redesign. And we are measuring all these changes through objective and key results, so OKR frameworks. That's what we are putting it back. So from that perspective, they're just, you asked for the 3 things that we look at. The person should be able to have a workable AI in place, an optimized AI in place, and safe AI in place. Workable in the sense, I don't want people who just works on one component. Yeah. That has been the flavor that we have been saying from the past, that you are just good in analyzing things. You're just good in fine-tuning things. You're just good in vector databases and the integrations. No, we want end-to-end solution. It should be in a workable state. That's the first skill. So no matter how you do it, you should make it work. Okay. Second, you should optimize it. I don't have infinite budgets and finances. So from that perspective, look at the optimizations, because you are saving time on code generation to make it workable. So with AI tools, you can make it that work within a day or 2, but optimization takes weeks. So spend time on optimization and make sure that from time and space complexity perspectives, the solution is actually optimized and usable. And third is safe. Do not let data leakages happen in the journey of making it workable. Because today, anything that happens is published on social media instantly. So any retail applications, any consumer-facing applications, consumers are waiting to make AI mistakes and finding the mistakes in the AI solutions that are available and using social media to propagate that immensely. I've seen instances where people were playing with the AI bots for airplane ticket booking, for car bookings. They have been able to manipulate AI to such an extent that they were able to get the offers for a $1 exchange for car. Absolutely. So from that perspective, people are waiting for you to make mistakes. People are waiting for AI to make mistakes, and they are very good in manipulation. So from that perspective, safety becomes really important. So from that perspective, the skill sets to understand that where all the safety harness lies and what are the checkpoints that you should consider becomes the 3 things. So workable AI, optimized AI, and safe AI.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, my fellow colleagues have talked about all the skills, so I'll take a slightly different route. Okay?
Please.
Yeah. If you go on LinkedIn today and look at the collective wisdom which is being poured by everyone, we do not need this forum. Everyone is already trained, right? Which is not the case. I mean, I interview people, and it looks like they have been working on GenAI for 10 years. But when you start drilling deeper, you see the challenge, right? So I think my perspective is if you detach yourself from the technology and look at how coachable someone is, how in-depth they think about things, can they go deeper into one thing rather than talking about 10 things, because those are all buzzwords, and explain it to me from first principles. The moment that's done, I have a signal that this person, irrespective of the technology, will go far, right? And that's the signal I'm looking for, because technologies will come and go. But your ability to how you learn about something, how deep you go, can you resist and sit with the problem for hours and hours, go deep and understand this, is what differentiates a true talent from someone who is just using the buzzwords. Right. And I think that's where, if I teach at multiple campuses, right? I give an exercise, within 15 minutes, the slides are made. You haven't thought about the problem at all, right? So I'm looking for those signals behaviorally, and I agree with all of the things which were said. Those skills are required, but I think those soft skills and the discipline to go harder into problems is what matters.
Exactly. That's what is required, need of the hour. Yeah?
Yes, I absolutely agree with everybody, but I agree with you actually here more, because soft skills, and that is innovative mindset. Innovative mindset and critical thinking are the abilities that we definitely need to inculcate into our Indian students. We are very smart, but we cannot innovate. Somehow, very few innovations, that the best innovations did happen, but somewhere we got lost in the game. Because our education system doesn't allow us to think innovatively. We need to make that change in there so that they can break free of the shackles and they can start thinking, okay, can I look at it differently? Foundations do matter, but sometimes even foundations can also be changed. It doesn't need to always work in this way. You can even question the foundation too, and we should give that ability because that's how innovations happen. That's how AI came into place. That's how GenAI came into place. So innovative thinking is something that we definitely need to inculcate into all our students. And critical thinking. How do I go through the problems? Once you mentioned, right? But if I don't know how critical thinking works, I'll never be able to guide myself to think through them in a systematic manner. And finally, failure resistant. I mean, there will be, multiple times you will fail. Forget tech, in life too, right? So many startups fail. You don't give up like that. How do you learn from them and how you rise up? That's what is very important.
Very, very true. Thank you so much. That's, a great session, I would say. Not only technology perspective, right? The other skills, what students should have, I think you gave it in a nutshell. Thank you so much for joining us today for this discussion. Definitely it will continue through our master classes, for our students. Look forward for those sessions. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone.